Alright, I'm going to go run some errands and I'm going to take the Honda Vision for this drive, and I'll do some talking about it. Explain what I like and don't like. Okay, so I actually owned a Honda Vision. It was my wife's first bike, so when I first met her I drove around on the Honda Visions a lot. And basically what they are is they are the cheapest automatic scooter from Honda. Now, they are specifically targeted at the female audience. The main reason for that is the flat platform where your feet sit. So when you're looking for a Honda automatic without spending a lot of money, you're basically looking at the Airblade or the Vision. So the men buy the Airblades and the women buy the Visions, and that's basically the way it works. Now, the really nice thing about the Vision is it's lightweight. It only weighs around 100 kgs compared to the Airblade sort of 110, 113. So it's a really, really light, nimble bike, and it drives very, very nicely because of it. And it's got quite big wheels considering how light it is. So it's also very low to the ground. You don't have to, you're not miles off the ground. It just handles really well, and it's so great in parking lots and things like that, just to be able to sort of throw the bike around. It's a very, very, very convenient motorbike. So we're just going to be approaching the tunnel here, going over these small bumps. It kind of vibrates about. I know from experience with these sort of cheaper Honda bikes, the way the front's attached, it comes loose. It's the same with most of them, and you have to tie them down to get rid of all the vibrations. The scenario where maybe even the girlfriend drives to you, and then you're going out on a date and you end up driving, you're the one driver. This is one of the best bikes, scooters in the country for going side saddle on, because it's quite narrow. It's really difficult to go side saddle on the big fat bikes with the big trunks. And it's not really a status symbol either. There's the other thing that I like about the Vision. It's just saying, hey, I want a scooter that has two wheels and it's going to get me from A to B. There's no status in it. It's just a good purchase, a good all-round purchase. Okay, so let's talk about some of the downsides to this bike. So these days, certainly among the more expensive scooters, it's pretty normal and accepted to fill the gas up at the front of a motorbike. So you go to a gas station, you don't have to get off the machine. Even the Honda Airblade has that functionality. So one of the big downsides to the Vision is it's still old school. You've got to lift up the seat. So basically get off the bike, lift up the seat, and then they'll fill it up for you at the gas station. It's quite inconvenient these days. It has luggage space, of course, but it's not got a whopping great boot like a Honda Lead or something like that. Like I say, it's just two wheels. It's two wheels that are going to get you from A to B incredibly reliably and very, very cheaply. 30 mil, brand new, it's insane. It's insane value for money. So to be honest, if you were an expat and you're just arriving in Vietnam, this is probably one of the most friendly all-round scooters. It's funny, the flat foot platform, apart from looking good with the high heels, is very, very convenient for shopping and luggage. And I find myself often on Honda Airblades and other bikes that don't have the flat foot, and it's really, really annoying. You suddenly, I wish I was on a Vision or something. Just put the box at your feet and off you go. It's so convenient. So the suspension on this scooter is pretty standard Honda stuff. I think the problem is I'm 100 kgs. So all of the scooters here, when I sit on the bike, they sort of crush down to the bottom of the suspension, which basically means there is no suspension anymore. So the ride feels very, very harsh. And I think that's something worth keeping in mind for foreigners. At the beginning, I just thought all the scooters here had hard suspension, but I now realize they're basically bottling out just by my weight when I'm sitting on them. So you end up, with no suspension at all. There's no real solution to that. And from what I can see, especially amongst the entry-level cheaper bikes, that's just the way it is. There's no escaping it. So the Vision's no different. But it does mean, when you have the two of you, even a Vietnamese couple, I think, if you have two people on the bike, everything's just squashed down and you don't have suspension, really. Here I am. should I buy? What should I buy? Hello. Hey, some of these. All right, so let's put this in the seat. So first of all, I have to find the key, which I've already lost. Ah, you got my key. All right, so yeah, this is one of the big downsides to the Vision. You've got to work all the way to the back, find the keyhole. It's a very manual process in this day and age. Oh, and the flowers don't fit. So really, this is a one helmet seating situation, which is a bit annoying. So there's not a lot of storage space there. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is just put these between my legs, and we'll have to roll with that, see how it goes. So yeah, a very common situation with these bikes is you've now got the keys in the back, you sit down to turn it on, and you're like, oh shit, I've forgotten my keys, and it takes a while to figure out they're in the back. And I've fallen down that hole many times. All right, so we got the flowers. Let's head off. Again, like, this is quite convenient setup. I'll just keep it between my legs, and that's gonna work. I can drive around like that, no problem. All right, let's head off. Now this is a problem that I have on all of the scooters in Vietnam, especially the ones with the flat foot platforms. So now I'm keeping my legs together to hold the flowers in place, and because I'm 2 meters tall, what you see is I get my legs stuck like this. And that's very scary going around corners, and I do have it happen. So I have this very wide seating position like this, and then I kind of hold the box or whatever it is with my feet. It's taken practice to get used to. I mean, Honda, obviously, when they're designing these things, we're not designing them for 2 meter tall people. So you got to forgive them a little bit. But it's worth keeping in mind, they are designed for Vietnamese. Most foreigners, especially men, are going to find they have that issue with their knees getting trapped in the handlebars, and it's bloody scary when it happens. And it happens to me, you know, on all of them, even today. So Visions are one of the few models of bikes now that seems to be remaining at 110cc. Most bikes out there now are going up to the 125. What does this really mean with a scooter? In my opinion, not much. But it is part of what is keeping it so cheap. And in fact, it's one of the elements now that's separating it from the Airblade. Before, the Airblade and the Vision and most scooters were 110cc all round, but now so many of them have gone up to 125s. So it's creating a bigger price gap, again just making this bike better value for money in relation to what's out there. I wouldn't be driving this quick, I tell you, on a bike like in front of me with the tiny wheels. Those things handle like boats, and I'll make a video on them at some point, but I way prefer the bigger wheel setup of Visions. I really do. It's a lot safer, So on the safety front, let's talk about brakes. Well, all of the Honda scooters are fairly similar. They have, I think they call it combi brakes. Basically, when you press one of the brake pedals, it automatically puts on the other brake pedal, the brake handle for you. So you're using both brakes at the same time to some extent. You've got to be a little bit careful with the brakes. I think the combi brake system works well, but I certainly wouldn't go slamming on the brakes on this bike. And actually talking to Link, and one of the ticket employees, he said one of his biggest complaints with the Vision is the way it's so light and going around corners and things. It's probably one of the easier bikes to make fall over. Because of just how nimble it is, it catches people off guard. So it's both a good thing and a bad thing. You know, it handles really well, but at the same time, you're not really expecting it to do that. So on the road, it can catch people. Okay, there's another complaint I got. So you got the big wheels, and you kind of feel nice and, you know, like you can get up curbs and stuff, but you can't. And I remember when I owned one of these, I always smashing the bottom of it on curbs, and I just smashed it on that around there. So you got to be aware of that. It's targeted at women, and it's a great all-round bike. So your girlfriend might drive it, then you drive her. It's appropriate for both, but it is a female audience focus bike with the flatfoot platform. But you can't really beat it for the money. It's again no status symbol attached to it. It's just two wheels that moves from A to B. You're not saying, hey, look at me, I have money, or whatever, anything like that. It's just a bike. And that's such a nice thing. So I'm a huge fan of the Vision. When my daughter gets to the age of 18 or whatever, I'll buy her the best value for money bike. The bike that doesn't have a stigma attached to it, labels attached to it, I will get the Vision for her. That's just what this bike is. So, if you're arriving here, it's a great starting place while you're learning the market, what's out there, what to do. You just want a bike, two wheels, that's nice and convenient.